The transport ship landed on Kepler 7 station with a loud crash. Metal groaned against metal as the old human vessel settled into the docking bay. Black smoke poured from its engines. The ship looked like it had been through a war. Ji-woo Park stepped out of the ship carrying a small bag. She was 19 years old and barely 5 feet tall. Her black hair was tied back in a simple ponytail. She wore the standard gray uniform that all new cadets received. The uniform was too big for her. Her small frame, around her, other beings stared. Some pointed, some laughed. "Look at that tiny human," said a voice that sounded like grinding rocks. "Looks like she could blow away in the wind." "Humans are so weak," said another voice, this one high and sharp.
Why do they even bother?
Coming here, Gi-woo heard them but did not look up. She walked forward with steady steps. Her face showed no emotion. She had heard worse things before. The Galactic Defense Academy was the most famous military school in the galaxy. For 300 years, it had trained the best warriors from every planet and every species. The massive station floated in space between 3 stars. Its walls were made of the strongest metal in the universe. Its training rooms could create any battlefield from any world. Only the strongest beings came here. Only the smartest survived. Commander Vexstar stood at the entrance to the academy. He was an Altarian, which meant he was huge. He stood 8 feet tall and had 4 arms. Skin was dark blue and covered in natural armor plates. His eyes were yellow and cold. He had trained thousands of cadets over the years. Most of them were much bigger than Ji-woo. "Name," he said. His voice was deep and scary. "Ji-woo Park," she said. Her voice was quiet but clear. Commander Vexstar looked at his datapad. He frowned. "Hearth. Age 19. Physical test scores." He stopped, reading and looked at her again. "These scores are very low." "Yes, sir," Gi-woo said. "Why are you here?" he asked. "To become a warrior, sir." Some of the other cadets laughed. Commander Vexstar did not laugh, but Ji-woo could see he was not impressed. "Follow me," he said. They walked through the main hall of the academy. The ceiling was so high that Ji-woo could not see the top. Banners hung from the walls. Each banner showed the symbol of a different species that had graduated from the academy. The human banner was very small and new. It had only been added. 2 years ago, other cadets filled the hallway. Ku saw beings she had never seen before. Some looked like giant insects. Others looked like living rocks. Some had wings. Others had tentacles instead of arms. All of them were much bigger than her. "That's a Zenthari," Commander Vexstar said, pointing to a creature that looked like a 9-foot-tall ant. "They can lift 10 times their body weight. Their outer skin is harder than steel." The Zenthari looked down at Ji-woo. Eyes were black and empty. "Is that supposed to be a warrior?" Its voice buzzed like a swarm of bees. "We shall see," Commander Vexstar said. They passed more cadets. A being made of living crystal floated past them. It glowed within her light. "Silthera," Commander Vexstar explained. "They can control gravity and energy." A group of reptile-like beings stood near a window. They had scales and sharp teeth. "Drakmuri," the commander said. "Born fighters. They had been warriors for 1,000 years. Every species seemed designed for war. They were big, strong, fast, or had special powers. Ku was just human. She had no special powers. She was not especially strong or fast. She was just a small girl from Earth. "Here are your quarters," Commander Vexstar said. They stopped in front of a door. "You will share this room with 2 other humans." The door opened. Inside, Gi-woo saw 2 people about her age. One was a young man with short black hair. He was doing push-ups on the floor. The other was a young woman sitting on a bed. She was reading a book. "This is Minho," Commander Vexstar said, pointing to the young man. "And this is Sora. They are also from Earth." Minho stopped doing push-ups and stood up. He was tall and strong-looking. "Another human," he said. "Great. Now there are 3 of us to embarrass the whole planet." Sora looked up from her book. She seemed worried. "Are you sure you want to be here?" she asked Ji-woo. "This place is really hard. Some cadets get hurt. Some even die." I want to be here, Giwu said. Commander Vexstar left them alone. Giwu put her bag on the empty bed. She did not have many things. Just some clothes, a few books, and a small picture of her family. Where are you from? Minho asked. Seoul, Giwu said. I'm from Busan, Minho said. Sora's from Daegu. We're the only humans in our class. Well, we were until you showed up. Was the training? Jiwoo asked. Minho and Sora looked at each other. Hard, Sora said. Really hard. The aliens are so much stronger than us. In combat training, I get beaten in seconds. In strength tests, I can barely lift the minimum weight. I've been here for 3 months, Minho said. I've failed every major test so far. The only reason they haven't sent me home is because Earth paid a lot of money to get humans into this academy. The other cadets don't take us seriously, Sora said. They think humans are weak and stupid. They call us soft skins and gravity-bound. Some of them won't even talk to us. Jiwoo listened, but said nothing. She had expected this. Humans were new to the galactic community. Most alien species had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. Humans had only learned to leave their own solar system 50 years ago. The worst part is the final test, Minho said. It's called the Nexus Trial. They say it's impossible for humans to pass. What makes it so hard? Jiwoo asked. Everything, Sora said. It tests fighting, flying, strategy, and survival. You have to be perfect in all areas. The record holder is a Drakmari prince. He finished in 47 seconds. 47 seconds, Jiwoo asked. Most cadets take 15 too? 20 minutes, Minho said. If they finish it all, 20% of cadets never pass. They get sent home in shame. But that's not the worst part, Sora said. The worst part is that everyone watches. Hundreds of beings from across the galaxy come to see the trials. If you fail, everyone knows. Jiwoo nodded. She unpacked her few belongings slowly. Minho and Sora watched her. You don't seem worried, Minho said. Should I be worried? Jiwoo asked. Yes, Sora said. This is the hardest military academy in the galaxy. We're the weakest species here. Everyone expects us to fail. Gu finished unpacking. She sat on her bed and looked at her roommates. Then maybe we should not do what everyone expects, she said. Minho laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. It's easy to say, but wait until you see what we're up against. Outside their window, the 3 stars that surrounded the station shone brightly. Kiwoo could see other ships arriving and leaving. Each one brought new cadets from different worlds. Warriors who had proven themselves on their home planets, beings who had been bred for battle. Jiwoo was just a human girl from Earth, but she had not come this far to give up now. The next morning, a loud horn woke all the cadets at 5 o'clock. Jiwoo jumped out of bed. Minho groaned and covered his head with a pillow. Sora was already getting dressed. First day of training, Sora said. Try not to die. They walked to the main training hall together. The room was huge. The ceiling was so high it disappeared into darkness. Hundreds of cadets stood in perfect rows. Gyu felt very small among all the giant alien beings. Instructor Zokith walked to the front of the room. He was a Vorthok, which meant he looked like a walking nightmare. His skin was gray and covered in scars. He had 6 arms and no hair. One of his eyes was missing. The other eye glowed red in the dark. Welcome to hell, Instructor Zolkith said. His voice was like grinding metal. I am your instructor. For the next 6 months, I will make your lives miserable. Some of you will quit. Some of you will get hurt. Some of you will die. I do not care. He walked back and forth in front of the cadets. You are here to become warriors, real warriors, not the pretend soldiers you were on your home planets. Real warriors who can fight in space on any world against any enemy. He stopped walking and stared at the cadets. At the end of your training, you will face the Nexus Trial. This is the final test. If you pass, you become a galactic warrior. If you fail, you go home and never come back. Some cadets shifted nervously. Gi Woo stood perfectly still. The Nexus. The trial has 5 parts, Instructor Zolkith continued. First, you must sneak through enemy lines without being caught. Second, you must solve puzzles while enemies shoot at you. Third, you must fight hand-to-hand combat against machines that learn from your moves. Fourth, you must pilot a starship through an asteroid field. Fifth, you must command a battle with multiple fleets. He smiled, but it was not a nice smile. The current record holder is Prince Korthok of the Drakmari. He completed the trial in 47 seconds. He also lost his left arm during the combat phase. Giwu heard Minho take a sharp breath. Most cadets take 18 minutes to complete the trial, the instructor said, if they complete it at all. The average failure rate is 20%. For some species, it is much higher. He looked directly at the 3 humans. Humans have never passed the Nexus trial, not once. In 2 years, 15 humans have tried. All 15 failed. The alien cadets around them whispered and laughed. Jiwoo felt their eyes on her. She kept looking straight ahead. Let me explain each phase in detail, Instructor Zokith said. Phase 1 is infiltration. You must get past enemy guards and security systems. You cannot be seen or heard. If you are caught, you fail immediately. He pressed a button on his wrist. A hologram appeared in the air, showed a military base with walls, guards, and laser fences. Phase 2 is problem-solving under pressure. You must solve 3 puzzles while combat robots try to kill you. The puzzles change every time. You must think fast while staying alive. The hologram changed. Now it showed a room with spinning blades, laser beams, and strange symbols on the walls. Phase 3 is adaptive combat. You fight against artificial intelligence that learns from every move you make. The longer the fight goes, the smarter your enemy becomes. You must win quickly, or you will lose. The hologram showed a fighting ring with a robot that looked like it was made of liquid metal. Phase 4 is space piloting. You must fly a starship through an asteroid field while enemies chase you. One mistake, and you crash. The asteroids move, and the enemies get faster as time goes on. The hologram now showed space filled with flying rocks and enemy ships shooting lasers. Phase 5 is strategic command. You must control 5 different battles happening at the same time. You have limited resources and limited time. You must win all 5 battles, or you fail. The final hologram showed a star map with flashing lights and moving ships. The trial is designed to test everything, Instructor Zolkith said. Strength, speed, intelligence, creativity, and leadership. You must be perfect in all areas. He looked around the room. Questions? A Zenthari cadet raised one of its 4 arms. How many times can we take the trial? Once, the instructor said. You get 1 chance. If you fail, you'll leave the academy forever. A Drakmari cadet spoke up. What happens if we get badly hurt during the trial? Medical teams will save your life, the instructor said, but you still fail the test. Prince Korthok lost his arm but still finished the trial. That is why he holds the record. Sora raised her hand. Has anyone ever completed the trial in less than 47 seconds? The instructor's red eye focused on her. No. Prince Korthok's record has stood for 10 years. No one has even come close. He walked closer to the human cadets. Human attempt was 8 minutes and 32 seconds. That cadet failed in Phase 4 when his ship crashed into an asteroid. More whispers and laughs from the alien cadets. Jiwoo noticed that some of them were making bets about how quickly the humans would fail. Training begins now, instructor, Zolkith said. We will spend the next 6 months preparing you for the trial. Some of you will not make it that far. We will start with basic combat. The cadets split into groups. Ju found herself facing a Silthara crystal being.
The creature
Was 8 feet tall and glowed with blue light, could control gravity around its body. This should be quick, the Silthara said. Its voice sounded like singing glass. Begin, instructor, Zolkith shouted. The Silthara raised its hand. Gi Wu felt the gravity around her body change. She became 3 times heavier. Her knees almost buckled. The alien reached out to grab her with its crystal fingers. Ji Wu dropped to the ground and rolled to the side. The Silthara's grab missed by inches. She came up behind the alien and kicked its knee joint. The crystal being stumbled. Impossible, the Silthara said. How did you move so fast under increased gravity? Gi Wu did not answer. She was already moving again. She grabbed a training staff from the ground and swung it at the alien's head. The Silthera blocked with its arm, but the impact made it lose concentration. The gravity returned to normal. Enough, Instructor Zolka said. Interesting technique. Human, but you still lost. The Silthera was not trying to hurt you. In a real fight, you would be dead. Giwu nodded. She had not expected to win. She had learned something important. The alien had been overconfident. It had not expected her to adapt so quickly. Around the room, other fights were ending. Minho had been defeated by a Drakmarie in 5 seconds. Sora had lasted longer against a Vorthok, but she had still lost. Pathetic, said a voice behind Jiwoo. She turned to see a massive Zenthari looking down at her. Humans are even weaker than I thought. Maybe, Jiwoo said quietly. But the trial is not just about strength. The Zenthari laughed. It sounded like grinding gears. Little human, the trial will crush you. You will fail in phase 1. You will not even make it to the fighting. We shall see, Giwu said. As the training day ended, Giwu walked back to her room with Minho and Sora. Both of them looked discouraged. Did you see how fast that Drakmari moved? Minho said. I could not even see his attack coming. Vorthok I fought was toying with me, Sora said. If he had wanted to hurt me, I would be in the medical bay right now. They reached their room. Jiwoo sat on her bed and opened one of her books. It was about military strategy. What can you read? After what happened today? Minho asked. Because books teach us things that muscles cannot, Jiwoo said. She turned the page and continued reading. Outside their window, the 3 stars continued to shine. In 6 months, she would face the Nexus trial. She knew the aliens expected her to fail. But Jiwoo was already planning how to prove them wrong. 3 months passed quickly at the academy. Every day brought new training and new pain. Gu watched her fellow cadets get stronger and faster. Some quit and went home. Others got badly hurt and had to leave. But Gu stayed. She got up every morning at 5 o'clock. She trained until late at night. She studied while others slept. Slowly, she began to learn things that the other cadets did not notice. In combat training, Jiwoo lost most of her fights. But each time, she lasted a little longer. Each time she learned something new about her opponents. You were getting better. Instructor Zokith told her after a sparring match. But better is not good enough. The Nexus trial does not care about improvement. It only cares about results. Giwu nodded. She had just fought a Drakmari warrior named Kolvex. The reptile being was twice her size and 3 times as strong. He had defeated her in 30 seconds. But Jiwoo had noticed something important. Da-da-da-da-da. Drakmari always attack the same way, she told Minho and Sora that night. They use their strength first. They think it will end the fight quickly. It does end the fight quickly, Minho said. He was rubbing his bruised ribs. Kolvex hit me so hard I saw stars. But what if someone did not fight the way they expected? Jiwoo asked. So Dash Ra looked up from her medical kit. She was treating a cut on her arm. What do you mean? All these aliens fight using their natural abilities, Jiwoo said. Zenthari use strength. Silthera use gravity control. Vorthok use speed. They've been doing this for so long that they expect everyone to fight the same way. Because it works, Minho said. Against other aliens, yes, Jiwoo said. But humans are different. We do not have natural weapons or special powers. We have to think. She opened her strategy book. I have been reading about ancient Earth battles. Humans always won by doing unexpected things. We never fought fair. Fighting dirty will not help against a Zenthari, Sora said. Not dirty, Guwu said. Smart. The next day brought maze training. All cadets had to navigate through a complex maze while avoiding robot guards. The maze changed every few minutes. Dead ends appeared and disappeared. Walls moved. Most cadets used their natural abilities. Silthera floated above the maze to see the way out. Zenthari smashed through walls. Vorthok ran so fast they could escape before the maze changed. Jiwoo did something different. She stood at the entrance and watched the maze for 5 minutes. She did not move. Other cadets passed her and entered the maze. "What are you doing, human?" asked Thexnari, a proud Vorthok hunter. His skin was dark green and covered in natural armor. "Are you afraid?" "I am learning," Giwu said. Vexenori laughed. "Learning will not help you run faster." He entered the maze at full speed. G-Wu continued watching. She saw the pattern and how the walls moved. She saw which path stayed open longest. She saw where the robot guards patrolled. Then she entered the maze. Instead of running straight toward the exit, she moved slowly and carefully. She stayed in areas where the guards could not see her. When walls began to move, she was already in safe positions. Vexenari appeared around a corner. He was running from 3 robot guards. His green skin was covered in sweat. "How did you get here so fast?" he asked. "I did not go fast," Jiwoo said. "I went smart." She showed him a hidden passage she had discovered. It led directly to the exit. Vexenari stared at her with new respect. "Human tactics are unusual," he said. Word of Jiwoo's maze performance spread through the academy. Other cadets began to watch her more carefully. They still thought humans were weak, but now they were curious. In Starship piloting class, Jiwoo surprised everyone again. The test was to fly through an asteroid field as quickly as possible. Most cadets used their fast reflexes to dodge the flying rocks. G-Wu took a different approach. She studied the asteroid patterns for several minutes before starting. Then, she plotted a course that used the asteroid's gravity to pull her ship forward. She finished the course faster than any cadet had ever done before. "Impossible," said the flight instructor, a 4-armed Altarian named Telver. "No one has ever used gravitational assistance in that course." "The asteroids were already there," Jiwoo said. "I just used them." In strategy class, the cadets had to command pretend armies in battle simulations. Most aliens used the same tactics their species had used for thousands of years. Drakmari attacked directly with overwhelming force. Zenthari used coordinated group attacks. Sothara controlled the battlefield with energy manipulation. Jiwoo's strategies were completely different. In one simulation, she was outnumbered 10-1. Instead of fighting, she retreated and made the enemy chase her into a trap. In another simulation, she pretended to be weak until the enemy got overconfident, then struck when they least expected it. "Where did you learn these tactics?" asked Subcommander Yildan, after reviewing her performance. It was a tall, thin alien with silver skin and large black eyes. "From human history," Jiwoo said. "My people have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We learn to win by being smarter, not stronger." The sub-commander made notes on his datapad. "It's very interesting. These approaches are ... unprecedented." Not everyone was impressed with Jiwoo's progress. Many cadets still laughed at the humans. They made jokes about soft skins and gravity crawlers. Some played cruel pranks. One morning, Jiwoo found her training equipment had been hidden. Another time, someone put alien food in her meal that made her sick. Minho and Sora were treated even worse. "They want us to quit," Sara said, after finding her books destroyed. "They think if they make life hard enough, we will give up and go home." "Let them try," Giwu said. "Humans do not give up easily." But the worst treatment came from the betting pools. Every week, cadets placed bets on who would pass the final trial. The odds against Jiwoo were now 847-1. That meant if someone bet 1 credit on her and she won, it would get 847 credits back. 847-1, Minho said, looking at the betting board. "That is the worst odds in Academy history." Said, "That means no one expects me to win, because you cannot win," said a harsh voice behind them. We turned to see Kelthar, a massive Drakmaray prince. He was 9 feet tall, with red scales and golden eyes. "Humans are a joke. You have no natural weapons, no special abilities, no warrior traditions. You are prey animals pretending to be predators." "Maybe," Jiwoo said calmly. "But prey animals sometimes survive when predators do not." Kelthar laughed. It sounded like rocks falling down a mountain. "Survive. Little human, the Nexus trial will destroy you in the first phase. You will not even make it to the real challenges." Leaned down, so his face was close to hers. I will be watching when you fail. It will be amusing. After he walked away, Minho shook his head. Why do you stay so calm when they insult us? Because anger makes you stupid, Jiwoo said. Need to stay smart. That night, Giwoo sat by the window in her room. She watched the stars and thought about the trial that was now only 3 months away. Around her, Minho and Sora slept. They had both improved during training, but they were still struggling. The other cadets were right about one thing. Humans were not naturally built for this kind of warfare. But Jiwoo had learned something.
Nice.
Important during her months at the academy, the aliens were incredibly strong and fast and smart. But they all thought in similar ways. They expected their enemies to fight like they did. Humans were different. Humans had survived on Earth, not by being the strongest or fastest, but by being the most adaptable. They could change their tactics when the situation changed. They could find solutions that no one else had thought of. Ji-Woo opened her strategy book and continued reading. Tomorrow would bring new training and new challenges. But she was no longer the same frightened girl who had arrived 6 months ago. She was becoming something the galaxy had never seen before. A human warrior who fought with her mind instead of her muscles. And in 3 months, she would show everyone what that meant. Trial day arrived like a storm. Gu woke up before the alarm sounded. She had barely slept. Today, everything would change. Today, she would either prove herself or fail completely. The academy buzzed with excitement. Hundreds of beings from across the galaxy had come to watch the trials. Ship after ship landed in the docking bays. Admirals, ambassadors, and generals filled the observation decks. Some had traveled for weeks just to see which cadets would pass. In the preparation room, 37 cadets waited for their turn. 6 months ago, there had been over 200 cadets. Many had quit. Many had been kicked out for failing too many tests. Only the strongest and smartest remained. Gu sat quietly in the corner. She wore the standard trial uniform, black. Armor that covered her arms and legs. The armor felt heavy on her small frame. Around her, alien cadets checked their weapons and practiced their moves. Minho sat next to her. His hands shook slightly. I can't believe this day finally came. He said, 6 months of training, and now it all comes down to this. Sora paced back and forth. What if we fail? What if we embarrass all humans? Everyone will say we were right to laugh at us. Then we fail, Gu said simply. But we try our best. First, Commander Vexstar entered the room. His forearms carried data pads and timing devices. Listen carefully, he announced. The trials will begin in 1 hour. You will go in the order I call your names. Each trial is recorded and watched by the evaluation committee. He looked around the room. Remember, you get only one chance? If you fail, you leave the academy forever. If you pass, you become a galactic warrior. The first name called was Morthic, a hegemony void marine. He stood 7 feet tall and wore natural armor that looked like black metal. His species had been warriors for 3,000 years. Good luck, other cadets called out as Morthic walked toward the trial chamber through the viewing screens. Everyone could watch what happened in the trial. The chamber was a massive room filled with holographic projectors and solid matter. Generators. It could create any environment and any enemy. Morthic entered the chamber confidently. The trial began. Phase 1 was infiltration. The chamber created a military base with high walls and laser fences. Robot guards patrolled the area. Morthic had to sneak past them all. He moved like a shadow, using his natural stealth abilities. For 2 minutes, everything went perfectly. He avoided the guards and disabled the security systems. Then he made a mistake. He stepped on a hidden pressure plate. Alarms screamed. Lights flashed. Robot guards swarmed toward his position. Morthic tried to fight his way out. His natural armor protected him from laser blasts. His strength let him smash through walls. But there were too many enemies. A swarm of hunter drones surrounded him. They fired energy nets that wrapped around his body. He fell to the ground, unable to move. Trial failed, announced the computer voice. Time, 3 minutes, 12 seconds. Watching cadets were silent. Morthic was one of the strongest beings in their class. If he could not pass, who could? Morthic walked out of the chamber with his head down. He did not look at anyone. Commander Vexstar handed him a data pad with his travel orders back to his home planet. Next, Commander Vexstar called. Silthera Prime. The crystal being floated toward the chamber. Its body glowed with confidence. Silthera could control gravity and energy. Their species had never known defeat in battle. Silthera Prime entered the trial chamber. Phase 1 began again, but the military base was different this time. The chamber never created the same challenge twice. The crystal being used its powers perfectly, floated over walls, and made itself invisible to sensors. It passed Phase 1 in 45 seconds. Phase 2 began, puzzle solving under fire. Combat robots appeared and started shooting. At the same time, complex puzzles appeared on the walls. Silthera Prime had to solve them while staying alive. The being used its energy control to create shields, while its crystal mind worked on the puzzles. For several minutes, everything went well. It solved the first 2 puzzles quickly, but the third puzzle was different. It required understanding of biological systems, something crystal beings knew nothing about. While Silthera Prime struggled with the puzzle, combat robots got smarter and more aggressive. A robot fired a plasma bolt that broke through the energy shield. The bolt hit Silthera Prime directly, being shattered into 1,000 pieces. Trial failed, the computer announced. Time, 8 minutes, 43 seconds. Medical teams rushed into the chamber. They could rebuild Silthera Prime, but it would take weeks. The being had failed the trial and would have to leave the academy. One by one, the superior alien cadets entered the chamber. One by one, they failed. Kolvex, the Drakmari warrior, made it to Phase 3 before an adaptive combat robot learned his attack patterns and defeated him. Time, 6 minutes, 15 seconds. Vexnari, the Vorthok hunter, used his incredible speed to reach Phase 4, crashed his starship into an asteroid when he tried to go too fast. Time, 12 minutes, 8 seconds. Kelthar, the Drakmari prince, lasted the longest. He was strong, smart, and experienced. He made it all the way to Phase 5, the strategic command phase. For 14 minutes, he commanded virtual fleets in space battles, but then he made a critical error. He focused too much on one battle and ignored the others. Enemy forces broke through his defenses and destroyed his command ship. Trial failed, the computer announced. Time, 14 minutes, 37 seconds. Kelthar emerged from the chamber furious. His golden eyes burned with rage. Impossible, he roared. That trial is rigged. No one can manage 5 battles at once. Prince Korthok did it, Commander Vexstar said calmly. In 47 seconds. That was 10 years ago, Kelthar said. The trial has gotten harder since then. The trial adapts to each candidate, the commander said. It tests your specific abilities. If you were truly worthy, you would have passed. Kelthar stormed out of the preparation room. His failure had shocked everyone. If a Drakmari prince could not pass, what hope did anyone else have? Minho was called next. Jiwoo watched her fellow human walk toward the chamber. His face was pale but determined. Good luck, she whispered. Minho entered the trial chamber. The military base appeared around him, moved carefully using the stealth techniques they had learned in training. For 4 minutes, he did well. He avoided most of the guards and disabled several security systems. But then he made the same mistake as many others. He tried to use strength instead of strategy. When a robot guard spotted him, Minho attacked directly. He was stronger than most humans, but not strong enough for this challenge. The guard's return attack sent him flying across the room. Trial failed, the computer announced. Time, for minutes, 21 seconds. Minho came out of the chamber limping. His left arm hung at an odd angle. Medical teams took him away immediately. Sora went next. She lasted longer than Minho. By being more careful, she made it to Phase 3 before the adaptive combat system overwhelmed her defenses. Trial failed, the computer announced. Time, 7 minutes, 52 seconds. Sora walked out of the chamber crying. She had trained so hard, but it had not been enough. Now only a few cadets remained. The alien cadets who were left looked nervous. If beings like Kelthor and Silthara Prime could not pass, what chance did they have? But the observers in the viewing areas were getting excited. They had come to see greatness, and so far they had only seen failure. Someone had to pass eventually. Someone had to prove worthy. Next, Commander Vexstar called. His voice echoed in the quiet room. Goo. Park. The remaining cadets turned to stare at her. Some laughed quietly. The betting pools had her at 847 to 1 odds against success. Everyone expected her to fail faster than any cadet in Academy history. Gilwoo stood up slowly. She was the smallest. Being in the room, her armor looked too big for her tiny frame. She had no natural weapons, no special powers, no warrior heritage. But as she walked toward the trial chamber, her dark eyes were calm and focused. She had spent 6 months preparing for this moment. She had studied every failure and every success. In Academy history, the aliens had tried to win through strength and speed and natural ability. All of them had failed. Now, it was time to try something different. Now, it was time to try the human. Wei Juwu stepped into the trial chamber. The door closed behind her with a final, echoing clang in the observation decks. Hundreds of beings leaned forward to watch. They expected this to be over quickly. They expected the small human girl to fail in spectacular fashion. They had no idea what they were about to see. The trial chamber was silent for a moment. Then the walls began to change. The military base appeared around Giwu. High walls, laser fences, and robot guards filled the space. Red lights flashed as the security systems came online. In the observation deck, hundreds of beings watched. Some checked their watches. They expected this to be over in seconds. "How long do you think the little human will last?" asked an Altarian admiral. 30 seconds, maybe less, replied a Zenthar general. "She is too small and weak." Commander Vexstar watched from the main control room. His 4 hands moved over the control panels, ready to stop the trial if Jiwoo got seriously hurt. The trial began. Phase 1. Infiltration 2.3 seconds. Jiwoo did not move for 5 seconds. She stood at the entrance and watched. Other cadets had rushed forward immediately, trying to use speed or stealth. Gu studied the pattern. She watched the robot guards walk their routes. She counted the timing of the laser fences. Where the pressure plates were hidden, most importantly, she noticed something no one else had seen. The guards all responded to the same alarm system. If she could trigger a small explosion in the right place, they would all rush to investigate, leaving their posts empty. G-Wu picked up a small rock and threw it at a fuel tank near the far wall. The tank exploded with a loud bang. Immediately, all the robot guards rushed toward the explosion while they were distracted. Jiwoo walked calmly through the now empty checkpoint. She did not sneak or hide. She simply walked through the front entrance while no one was watching. "It's impossible," whispered an alien observer. She just walked through. Phase 2. Puzzles solving under fire to 1.8 seconds. The chamber changed. Jiwoo stood in a room with 3 large puzzles on the walls. Combat robots appeared and immediately started shooting at her. Laser bolts flew past her head. Other cadets had tried to solve the puzzles while dodging attacks. They had used their natural abilities to create shields or move quickly. All of them had failed because the puzzles were designed to be nearly impossible to solve under pressure. Giwoo looked at the puzzles for exactly 1 second. They were mathematical equations, pattern recognition tests, and logic problems. Designed around alien thinking patterns, instead of trying to solve them, Giwoo walked to the control panel next to the first puzzle. She typed in a simple sequence 3.1415926535.9 the mathematical constant pi, the most basic number in human mathematics. All 3 puzzles solved themselves instantly. The combat robots shut down. The alien observers sat in stunned silence. "Did she know the override code?" asked a Silthara diplomat. "There was no override code," Commander Vexstar said slowly. "The puzzles were designed around alien logic systems. They never considered that a different species might approach mathematics differently." Phase 3. Adaptive combat to 3.1 seconds. The chamber became a fighting ring. A robot made of liquid metal appeared. It was designed to learn from every attack and defense. The longer the fight lasted, the smarter it became. Other cadets had tried to defeat it quickly with overwhelming force, or outlast it with superior skill. All had failed because the robot learned too fast. Ji Woo did something completely unexpected. She did not fight the robot at all. Instead, she grabbed training equipment from around the ring and started building something. She used metal bars, cables, and gravity plates. The robot watched, confused, because its programming told it to learn from combat moves, not engineering. In 3 seconds, Ji Woo had built a simple but effective electromagnetic pulse device. She activated it. The robot's liquid metal body froze. Solid, its electronic brain scrambled. She did not fight it, said a Vorthok general. She simply turned it off. Human engineering, Commander Vexter said. His voice carried a new tone of respect. Phase 4. Space piloting minus 2.4 seconds. The chamber became the cockpit of a starship. Through the view screen, Ji Woo could see a massive asteroid field. Thousands of rocks flew through space in chaotic patterns. Enemy ships appeared behind her, firing laser weapons. Other cadets had tried to fly through the asteroid field using speed and reflexes. They had dodged and weaved between the rocks, trying to outfly their pursuers. Ji Woo studied the asteroid field for 1 second. She saw the pattern in their movement. She calculated their gravitational effects on each other. Instead of flying through the asteroids, she fired her ship's engines in reverse and flew directly toward the largest asteroid. At the last second, she used the asteroid's gravity to slingshot. Around it, at incredible speed, the gravitational pull launched her ship like a stone from a slingshot. She flew past all the other asteroids and reached the exit point in 2.4 seconds. The enemy ships, trying to follow her path, crashed into the large asteroid. Gravitational assist breathed a Drakmari scientist no one has ever thought to use. The asteroids as allies instead of enemies. Phase 5. Strategic command to 1.4 seconds. The final phase began. Ji Woo found herself commanding 5 separate space battles happening across 5 different star systems. Each battle had hundreds of ships. Each battle was critical. Other cadets had tried to micromanage every battle, giving detailed orders to every ship captain. They had failed because no one mind could handle that much information at once. Ji Woo looked at all 5 battles for exactly 1 second, and she saw the bigger picture immediately. 3 of the battles were decoys. The enemy was using them to distract from the 2 battles that really mattered. If she won those 2 key battles, the other 3 would become meaningless. Sent a simple message to the commanders of the 2 important battles. Use Plan 7. Ignore everything else. Plan 7 was a classic human military strategy. Concentrated force at the decisive point. Within 1.4 seconds, both critical battles were won. The 3 decoy battles became irrelevant as enemy forces retreated. Total time, 11 seconds. Trial completed successfully, announced the computer voice. Total time, 11 seconds. New Academy record. The observation deck was completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. No one could believe what they had just seen. Ji Woo walked out of the trial chamber calmly. She looked exactly the same as when she had entered. No injuries, no damage to her equipment, no sign of stress. Commander Vextar stared at his displays. He ran diagnostic checks 3 times to make sure the equipment was working correctly. Everything was functioning perfectly. 11 seconds, he said quietly. She beat Prince Korthok's record by 36 seconds. The silence in the observation deck finally broke. Alien beings began talking all at once. Some shouted in excitement. Others argued that it was impossible. Few demanded to see the recordings again. How? Commander Vexter asked when Ji Woo approached him. How did you do that? Ji Woo looked up at the massive alien commander. You designed the trial for warriors. Who think like warriors, she said. You tested strength, speed, and fighting ability. She paused, then continued. But humans are not just warriors. We're problem solvers. We do not try to overpower challenges. Find ways to make challenges irrelevant. Puzzles, the combat, robot, the asteroids, Commander Vextar said slowly. You did not defeat them. You found ways around them. Exactly, Giwu said. Human strategy is simple. If you cannot go through something, go around it. If you cannot fight something, change the rules. If you cannot win by being stronger, win by being smarter. In the observation deck, the betting computers were going crazy. Someone had bet 1 credit on Jiwoo at 847 to 1 odds. That person was now 847 credits richer. The other surviving cadets stared at Jiwoo with new respect. The aliens who had laughed at her 6 months ago now looked at her with something close to fear. From this day forward, Commander Vexstar announced, Gu Park holds the Academy record for the Nexus trial. She is also the first human to pass the trial successfully. He paused, then added, she will graduate as the Academy valedictorian. Later, that evening, Gu sat in her room with Minho and Sora. Both of them were being treated for their injuries, but both were proud of their friend. You did it, Sora said. You actually did it. We did it, Jiwoo corrected. All humans did it. I just happened to be the one in the chamber. What happens now? Minho asked. Jiwoo looked out the window at the 3 stars surrounding the station. Now we show the galaxy what humans can really do. News of Jiwoo's achievements spread across the galaxy within hours. Human recruitment to military academies increased by 500%. Other species began studying human tactics and strategies. Most importantly, no one ever laughed when a human entered military training again. They had learned an important lesson. Never underestimate a species that survived by thinking instead of fighting, and in the words that Giwu would later write in her famous tactical manual, the strongest weapon is not the one that hits hardest. It is the one that hits where no one expects it. The galaxy would never be the same.